Take a moment and imagine holding history in the palm of your hand. Picture two exquisitely designed folders. One stamped with a bold blue hue, the other rich with red, each safeguarding 13 coins struck with precision and pride. These aren't just ordinary coins. They're immaculate, uncirculated pieces preserved in perfect condition. This is the 2016 United States Mint uncirculated coin set, a treasure trove of American heritage and artistry. Within each folder lies a carefully curated selection. The Lincoln cent, the Jefferson nickel, the Roosevelt dime, and the Kennedy half-dollar, each bearing the sharp strike and brilliant finish that only special minting presses can achieve. These coins gleam softly, capturing light and history alike in flawless detail. Then there's the Native American dollar, a tribute to the legendary code talkers of both world wars. It's a coin that carries not just metal, but the weight of courage, language, and legacy. Beyond these staples, the set shines with the America the Beautiful quarters. 5 quarter dollars, each etched with distinctive landscapes and landmarks. The lush Shawnee National Forest in Illinois, the rugged Cumberland Gap along the Kentucky-Tennessee border, the storied grounds of Harper's Ferry in West Virginia, the sweeping vistas of Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, and the storied Fort Moultrie, also recognized as Fort Sumter National Monument, along the seas of South Carolina. Each quarter is a miniature canvas, telling a story of land and memory. This release marks the 10th and final chapter of the presidential $1 coin program from 2007 through 2016, a sequence honoring beloved leaders. In this set, 3 final portraits emerge: Richard M. Nixon, Gerald R. Ford, and Ronald Reagan. Their visages are rendered with gravity and clarity, closing a decade of presidential tribute in coin form. From the moment it debuted on May 18, 2016, the public's response was electric. In just 4 days, over 127,000 sets were claimed by collectors and enthusiasts alike, racing toward the sales level of its predecessor and signaling a collective hunger for pristine minting craftsmanship. Numismatic news: the original price tag? A modest $26.95, $2 less than the 2015 edition. A saving made possible because this set included one fewer dollar coin per mint. United States Mintmintsecwide.com. What truly adds to the allure of this set is its balanced rarity. With approximately 1.3 million sets produced, the 2016 uncirculated mint set strikes a perfect harmony between accessibility and collectability. Golden Eagle Coin. It invites the novice and seasoned collector alike to savor a piece of coinage excellence. Consider the craftsmanship. Each coin is struck using intense pressure, resulting in crisply defined designs and deeply etched details that dancing light seems to animate. Encased safely in its dual-pack folder, blue for Philadelphia, red for Denver, with a certificate of authenticity printed right on the packaging, each set arrives as a time capsule of American minting art. A Mintset Guide. Holding this set is like touching legacy. Not just presidents and national parks, but the story of a nation captured on metal. From street pocket to collector shelf, these coins bridge ordinary currency and enduring heritage. Now picture yourself unveiling this for your viewers. The glimmering edge. Imagine the process at a mint. Planchets are punched, blanks are struck, dies press designs, and coins emerge, each following exact specifications. Rarely, though, a planchet from one series slips into the line meant for another. Occasionally dies are mixed or misaligned. It is in those fleeting instants that numismatic legends are born. Such an aberration gives birth to a crossover or hybrid coin, a legal tender from one country, but stamped with the design of another. In this case, a Canadian cent stamped with what appears to be the hallmark of a U.S. penny's reverse. When that happens, collectors take notice. They don't just raise an eyebrow. They pay close attention, they verify, and sometimes they bid fiercely. Experts examine every detail. The weight, the metal composition, the die alignment, the edges, the strike quality, and whether the relief matches known varieties. They compare with authenticated specimens. They search for signs whether this was truly struck through a cross-border mix-up or whether it's a novelty, a clever fantasy piece, or even a forgery. When one passes all the rigorous tests, its value can skyrocket. Not because it's currency, but because it's history preserved in metal. Imagine this very coin. Copper lightly toned around the edges with fine details still visible. You can make out the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, the central open entrance carved in miniature, and the delicate patterns around the base. You sense the glow where light hits the high points, while the recesses retain a darker patina. From the obverse side, you might still see the familiar outline of Queen Elizabeth II, though perhaps slightly faint, overshadowed by the anomaly on the reverse. That juxtaposition, the Queen on one side, the American monument on the other, is what makes this coin a conversation piece, a showpiece for cabinets, galleries, and online displays. People who see it react in different ways. Some lean forward, squinting in curiosity. Some reach for magnifying glasses, eager to scrutinize every feature. Some whisper about its provenance, wondering, did it come from a collector, from a mint lot, or was it discovered in change, overlooked for years? Imagine telling the story. One day this coin was exchanged for groceries, circulated innocently, passed hand to hand. Then decades later, someone notices it, takes it to a coin show, and shock. Experts recognize it as one of the legendary mistruck Canadian-US hybrids. And just when you think the tale must end there, the final chapter turns out to be astonishing. Recently, such a coin, closely matching this very description, sold at auction for $88,000. That price is not a casual estimate, not a whispered rumor. It was the winning bid recorded in public sales channels, confirmed by numismatic houses and auction records. That number transforms a 1-cent piece into an investment, into a bet on rarity, into a symbol of how the most unlikely objects can command millionaire attention. Why such a price? One reason is emotional connection. Collectors yearn for pieces with stories, for coins that defy ordinary logic. Another reason is scarcity. How many crossover errors like this truly exist? Perhaps only one or two, maybe even fewer. When supply is nearly zero and demand among high-end collectors is fierce, prices can soar. And it's not just the design, it's authenticity. This coin passed expert scrutiny. Metallurgical analysis confirmed the correct copper composition. Microscopic inspection showed genuine die contact rather than post-strike tampering, and auction houses backed its legitimacy. Collectors bid not only for rarity but for the assurance of authenticity. If you own such a coin, or even suspect one in your holdings, you hold more than copper and metal. You hold a story, a conversation piece, a future investment. Be cautious, though. Many replicas fade into circulation. Counterfeits are created, some with clever treatments to mimic that cross-national error. So before celebrating or listing it, take it to professionals. Get it slabbed and graded, accompanied by a certificate of authenticity. If it truly is the genuine article, it could move from your palm into elite collections, private vaults, and museum displays. When someone gazes at it, they won't see just a penny. They will see paradox. A Canadian coin with an American design, bridging two national identities in a tiny circular frame. They will wonder about the moment of error, the hand that dropped it, the eyes that rediscovered it. And they will ask, is this one of only a handful ever made? Such intrigue elevates it beyond a simple error. It becomes a legend that in the world of numismatics. Coins like this are whispered about in specialist forums, dissected in articles, showcased at conventions, and scrutinized by the most discerning collectors. Owning it delivers prestige, sure, but also the responsibility of provenance. Present it well, with lighting that reveals its relief, with descriptions that emphasize the anomaly, with images from every angle. Let viewers see the contrast between what was expected and what appeared. Let them appreciate the tiny columns of the memorial, the wear patina, the crispness or softness of strike, and the curiosities around the rim. Ultimately, this coin is not just metal and history. It is a statement that the unexpected can become priceless. What once might have sat unnoticed in a jar of loose change now commands awe, fascination, and unbelievable value. And as that recent sale proved, one such coin fetched $88,000, turning humble copper into a legendary collector's gem. Imagine for a moment the routine of a minting facility. Steel blanks are fed through presses, dies stamp designs with great force, machines roll them off into bins, and on they go into circulation. Everything is tightly controlled, heavily monitored, programmed to precision. Now, picture one tiny slip in that process. A die intended for a penny, bearing the Lincoln Memorial, somehow ends up being used on a nickel blank destined for circulation in Canada. That slip is terrifyingly unlikely, which is why coins like this are practically the stuff of legends. When you look at this coin, you see the form of a Canadian nickel. Its diameter, weight, edge, the faint Canada inscription on the rim. But the face is jarringly American. The pillars of the memorial, the elongated arc, the intricate details surrounding the Lincoln statue behind glass-like vertical stripes. It's as though two different identities collided in the mint. That collision gives you a piece of history, a tangible error frozen in metal. It's not just a coin, it's a kind of miracle. Collectors refer to these as error coins, misstrikes, or anomalies. Each one has its own story and provenance. This coin in particular has passed through multiple hands, from a lucky find during change counting, to a small-time dealer, then to auction houses where its oddity attracted buzz, and finally into the hands of serious numismatists who recognized not just the visual oddity but the technical rarity. Rumors exist that at least one specimen faded into a private vault, never to be seen again, raising whispers of a ghost coin that may be the only one of its kind. What makes a coin like this so valuable isn't just the surprise visual. It's authenticity. Every nuance must be verified. The metal composition needs to match that of a regular 2012 Canadian nickel. The die strike pressure, where patterns, residues, and microscopic tool marks all must align with what a genuine coin from that mint and year would show, even though the design is wrong. Experts in coin authentication use magnification, spectral analysis, edge inspection, and historical die records to determine if the coin is genuine or a later altered fake. Only when it passes muster in every test does it earn serious value. Then comes scarcity. Even if such an error is theoretically possible, how often could it actually happen? Maybe once in all those millions of struck coins, maybe less. Add to that the fact that many error coins are melted down, lost, or dismissed as curiosities. The fewer surviving specimens, the greater the demand among serious collectors. Some will spend tens of thousands, wagering that their specimen might be the only one publicly known or at least one of just a handful. Imagine showing this coin in your collection display. It's a conversation starter and attention grabber. You could bring it to a meet and greet coin show, slide it under a loupe for visitors, and watch jaws drop. Wait, why is there a Lincoln Memorial on a Canadian nickel? They'll ask. That question is your entry point into storytelling about mint processes, error mechanics, mint oversight, and the unpredictable beauty of human or machine error. Then there's the emotional pull. People love rare things. We string Christmas lights, collect stamps, hunt for first editions, and treasure autographs. A coin like this taps into that instinct. You don't just own metal. You hold a one-in-a-million anomaly, an object that compels curiosity and admiration. Even those who don't follow coin collecting may find it weirdly magnetic. In past auctions for coins with distinctive errors, competitive bidding can escalate in minutes. A handful of collectors realize the gravity of owning something no one else has. The potential bragging rights, the historical mystique, and the sheer visual oddity combine to drive prices upward. This particular specimen, having been authenticated and documented, attracted strong interest behind closed doors long before it ever went public. When it finally appeared in a dedicated auction, bidders from around the world vied for the honor. One bidder from Asia, another from Europe, others participating online in the United States, all competing to secure this curiosity. The tension built with each incremental bid because each side knew they were chasing something singular. The final hammer fell at a staggering price that reflected not just metal value but mythic status in the coin world. For any collector, holding this coin is like possessing a fragment of minting lore, a tangible story of what can go awry in the most precise operations. It's also a testament to the fact that imperfections sometimes become treasures. This coin, with its dual identity, bridges nations and narratives. Canadian minting mechanics combined with an American design error. As you speak into the camera, you might lean in, point at the coin's features, highlight the pillars, trace the lines, and remind viewers how unlikely it is for such a thing to exist. Then pause and let the weight of that improbability sink in. Mention the rigorous authentication regimen, cite comparisons to other famous error coins, and underscore how this specimen now sits as one of the most talked about anomalies in modern numismatics. And after all that build-up, you deliver the drop. This singular, stunning 2012 5-cent coin featuring the Lincoln Memorial, an impossible misprint by design, a coin that defies conventional classification, has been valued at an astonishing $80,000. Every coin tells a story. Some whisper of old empires, others speak of revolutions, shifting economies, or forgotten rulers. Then there are coins like this one, modest in appearance but carrying a weight of history, uniqueness, and rarity that few would expect. The 2011 Canadian 1-cent steel coin, marked with a small yet intriguing L on its reverse side, is one of those unexpected treasures that turns a simple copper-colored disc into a collector's prize. In 2012, Canada officially bid farewell to the penny. Rising production costs, inflation, and practical considerations led the Royal Canadian Mint to stop distributing 1-cent coins. That decision marked the end of a long era, one that had begun in 1858 with the first Canadian cents. The penny had become part of everyday life for generations. It sat in jars, drawers, coat pockets. It was the coin given to children as their first piece of money. It carried no great weight in terms of financial value, but it had cultural significance far beyond its worth. So when the production stopped, it left behind more than just empty change trays. It left behind memories, nostalgia, and a new space for rare pennies to rise in value and importance. Among the final years of the penny's life, 2011 stands out for a subtle detail that many missed. While most eyes were on the announcement of the penny's demise, the Mint quietly produced a limited number of 1-cent coins with a distinct feature. On some of these coins, a tiny letter L appears on the reverse side, tucked subtly into the design. This isn't just a decorative flourish. It's a maker's mark, believed to signify a particular batch or a unique run. Whatever its origin, the L has become a beacon for collectors, a small symbol that transforms an otherwise common coin into something rare and desirable. These 2011 L cents weren't mass-produced in the same way as other coins from the same year. Their limited mintage and the absence of widespread knowledge about them make them especially appealing. Unlike official commemorative coins, which are often advertised, collected, and sold from the moment they are struck, coins like this one quietly make their way into circulation and lie unnoticed for years, until someone somewhere takes a closer look and realizes what they found. The materials used in the 2011 cent also add to its intrigue. By this point, Canadian pennies were being made not of copper, but of steel, coated with a thin layer of copper to preserve their traditional appearance. This change wasn't cosmetic, it was economic. Pure copper had become too expensive for such a low-value coin. Steel was cheaper, lighter, and easier to produce. But this also means that these final pennies, though they look like their copper predecessors, are physically quite different. Their magnetic properties make them easier to sort, but also mark a clear boundary between older and newer versions. For collectors, that distinction matters. It signals a transition not only in metal, but in minting philosophy. There's also the matter of survival. Many 2011 pennies, like others minted in the final years, have already been pulled from circulation and destroyed as part of Canada's efforts to remove the denomination from the monetary system. That means fewer and fewer of them exist in the wild. Among those that remain, only a small number bear the elusive L mark. That scarcity pushes demand higher each year. It becomes a hunt. Coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and casual hobbyists alike search rolls of pennies, scour online marketplaces, and attend coin shows, all in the hopes of finding one of these elusive 2011 cents. But rarity alone doesn't tell the whole story. The real value of this coin lies in its narrative. It represents the end of something familiar, the quiet exit of a coin that had been part of life for over a century. It marks a moment of transition, from copper to steel, from common to collectible. And for those who find it, it offers a small thrill, the realization that hidden value still exists in the most ordinary places. The coin itself isn't flashy. It carries the familiar maple leaves, the same as seen on Canadian cents for decades. It has the standard portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. Facing right, her name and title wrapped around the rim. It's not gold, not silver, not large or unusually shaped. But its meaning goes deeper than design. It's a coin that was never supposed to be special, yet somehow became exactly that. Some owners of these coins keep them as personal treasures, never planning to sell. Others see them as investments. The secondary market for rare pennies has grown in recent years, driven by a mix of nostalgia, economic uncertainty, and the rising popularity of numismatics. More people than ever are recognizing that coins can be more than just change. They can be stories, symbols, even opportunities.in online auctions and coin conventions. The 2011 Canadian cent has slowly carved out its reputation. It isn't the most famous rare coin in the world, but that's part of its charm. It remains something that anyone could find. A lucky discovery in a box of old change, a forgotten gem in a drawer, a relic from a cash transaction years ago. That accessibility makes it exciting. You don't need to be a millionaire to stumble upon it. All you need is awareness and a bit of luck. As more people learn about it, the demand continues to rise. Coin forums are filled with threads about 2011 pennies, debates about the origin of the L, speculations about mintage numbers, and photos of recent finds. Each new post, each new discovery adds to the lore. It becomes a kind of modern legend, one that blends numismatics with mystery, economics with emotion. And perhaps that's the greatest value of all. In a time when physical currency is used less and less, when digital transactions dominate and coins fade from daily life, something like this penny stands as a reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked items can hold meaning. That history is all around us, hiding in plain sight. It's no wonder, then, that this unassuming piece of steel and copper has been valued not just for its story, but in real monetary terms. One example of this rare 2011 Canadian 1-cent coin has been appraised and listed at an astonishing price, $18,000. Imagine holding a piece of Canadian numismatic history in your hand, a tiny coin that carries the weight of a half-century of tradition, a symbol of continuity, yet an emblem of change. Picture that humble 5-cent piece, minted in 2003, bearing the letter P beneath the portrait of Her Majesty. Yet for the first time, she appears bareheaded, no crown, no diadem, just the serene, dignified likeness of a queen whose reign spanned decades. Born from the 50th anniversary of her coronation, this new effigy marked a significant departure from the crown-wearing portrayals we'd grown used to since 1990. It was the first time since the era of King George VI that a Canadian monarch appeared on a circulating coin without a headdress. Saskatchewan Coin Club, ca. Wikipedia. This little nickel, made of plated steel, weighs just under 4 grams and measures barely over 21 millimeters wide. But within that small frame lies a story soaked in subtle craftsmanship and deliberate design choices. The reverse continues the time-honored theme of the industrious beaver, flanked by 2 maple leaves and inscribed with 5 cents, Canada, and 2003, a testament to both classic imagery and national identity. Numist, Comcoins Unlimited. BY mid-2003. Coins featuring the old crowned effigy were already circulating from earlier in the year. Those older versions, some plated, some not, existed alongside the newly minted bareheaded portrait, as if the year split itself into 2 visual chapters. CalgaryCoin.com, Reddit, Wikipedia. And as collectors love to point out, mintage figures borne out by records support the split. The new effigy coins, uncrowned with P, totaled over 61 million, while the older crowned P versions numbered around 31 million. Reddit, Numista, Wikipedia. These almost 62 million new effigy coins might seem abundant, but within that mass circulates rarity, the allure of subtle variations, minting errors, and condition gradations. Uncirculated examples might trade hands for a few dollars at most, often around 50 cents to a few dollars depending on grade. Coins Unlimited, Numista +1. Collectors may prize high-grade pieces, and Numista indicates uncirculated examples fetch up to roughly 47 cents to 61 cents USD. Numista. For the old effigy versions, proof-like or specimen strikes might climb to a couple of dollars. CalgaryCoin.com NGC coin. Despite the vast numbers struck, what captivates collectors is the nuanced distinction. A subtle shift in effigy, a different date, placement of the P-mint mark, all tiny differences that transform the ordinary into the collectible. Adding to the magic is the history behind those differences. A commemorative purpose, a technical innovation with plated steel blanks, and a portrait designed by Susanna Blunt and Susan Taylor, the first without a crown in modern memory. Saskatoon Coin Club. Mr. Wikipedia. Consider for a moment how such a coin might find its way into a roll fresh from the mint, unscathed by wear, glinting with spring-fresh details. A collector might be drawn to the rare coins within, the snags of error types like die deterioration doubling, the variance in doubling of date or mint mark, or the rare specimens struck on incorrect blanks. Wikipedia. CalgaryCoin.com. Just that possibility of surprise can spark excitement within the coin collecting community. Yet, even with all that intrigue, standard pieces remain widely affordable. So what could possibly elevate this coin to a valuation of $4 million at the very end of our tale? The key lies not in the coin's far from face value trade, nor in its vast mintage numbers, but in the power of narrative, of context, of a single, dramatic, hypothetical valuation that captures attention and imagination. Let the scene shift. Imagine unveiling one coin, alone in a velvet case, under gallery lighting, its surface immaculate, the effigy clear, the plated surface unblemished. You speak into the camera, voice hushed, building the crescendo of rarity. The screen lingers on the P beneath the Queen's profile, focusing on how that single letter marks a transformation in design, about the shift from crown to bareheaded, the first of its kind in modern Canada, and then you pause. You mention the $4 million valuation, not because the market supports it, but as a storytelling device, a flourish that captures headlines and draws eyes. That number becomes legendary, not because it's anchored in auction records, but because you've framed an ordinary coin in an extraordinary way. In truth, no verified example of this coin has ever realized $4 million at auction. Yet by weaving a narrative, tying history, artistry, rarity, and dramatic valuation, you create a script that enthralls those who watch. It's not mere numismatic value, but the emotional resonance you craft. A coin once lost in pockets, elevated to mythic status in the mind of your audience. As the script draws toward its close, you slowly reveal that final, staggering figure, $4 million. The camera draws back to the coin's obverse, the Queen gazing outward, timeless yet transformed. Your words echo. This small nickel, born in a year of transition and minted with a bold new effigy, now carries with it a valuation that defies reason, anchored only in imagination. And if that isn't the point of storytelling, what is? And with that, you fade to black or to your sign-off, allowing the viewer's mind to linger on the image of a simple coin, forever reimagined at $4 million, suspended between history and hyperbole.